You are good to go, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, and welcome to our Tuesday, August 8th, 2023 public meeting. Can I get a mover and a seconder to open the meeting? Moved by Councillor McDonnell, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lang. Have the meeting open at the call of the chair at 6:36 p.m. All those in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. Approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda? Seeing no changes to the agenda, can we get the approval, a mover and a seconder to approve the agenda as presented? Moved by Councillor Bougie. Seconded by Councillor McDonnell. All those in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, let's get to new business. Zoning bylaw 0923. Aaron Feld Wolfinger, Baraha, Max or Joanne.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to turn it over to Max and just let council know that Max has looked after this file entirely from the beginning. We've had a little consultation back and forth, so I'm turning it over to him to share his knowledge on this application. Thank you.
Thank you. And through you, Mr. Mayor, I'll just share my screen. Kelly, do you mind just enabling it? Thank you. My presentation should be up on there.
We see it.
Perfect. I'll start with some more required wording. This is a public meeting under Section 34 of the Ontario Planning Act. Any person may attend the public meeting and or make written or verbal representation either in support of or in opposition to the proposed zoning bylaw amendment. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at the public meeting or make written submissions to the Council of the Township of South Glengarry before the bylaw is decided upon, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of Council of the Township of South Glengarry to the Ontario Land Tribunal, also known as OLT. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or make written submissions to the Council of the Township of South Glengarry before the bylaw is decided upon, the person or public body may not be added as a party to the hearing of an appeal before the OLT unless there are reasonable grounds to do so. So the subject property is part of Lot 33 in Concession 1 in the geographic township of Lancaster, now in the Township of South Glengarry, in the County of Glengarry, located at 20621 Old Highway 2. The subject property is also approximately 23.36 acres in size and currently contains a residential building, single attached dwelling, and is partially farmed for hay, with an aerial view of the subject property here. The subject property itself is the area around, includes the area around the black bar as well. That is just the proposed area for the amendment will affect. And just offer some clarification on there. The amendment will affect the entire property, but that proposed area, that black area, is the proposed area for the proposed development. Here are some site photos showing the property looking to the west, east, and north in through the laneway. And the purpose of the proposed amendment is to rezone the subject property from its current zoning of agricultural to agricultural exception 35 to permit adventure games as an on-farm diversified use. And all other applicable provisions of zoning bylaw 3809 will remain as they are. Should the proposed amendment be approved, the applicant intends to establish a paintball and airsoft facility on the subject property, which would be permitted under the adventure games definition, as defined in zoning bylaw 3809. The subject property is currently designated agricultural resource lands in the county official plan, and the proposed amendment does conform to the official plan and the provincial policy statement. In the SCNG official plan, on-farm diversified uses are specifically permitted in the agricultural resource lands where they are, or the on-farm diversified use is secondary to the principal agricultural use of the property, limited in area, compatible with the surrounding agricultural operations, and does not hinder the surrounding agricultural operations. OMAFRA has released guidelines on permitted uses in Ontario's prime agricultural areas, and recommend that on-farm diversified uses be located on a farm with an active agricultural use, secondary to the principal agricultural use of the property, and to spatially limit that, they recommend to limit it to 2% of the subject property with a maximum of 1 hectare, and permit only non-agricultural related uses as on-farm diversified uses that are both physically and temporally secondary to the primary agricultural use. And that the on-farm diversified use should be compatible with and not hinder the surrounding agricultural operations by avoiding uses with large groups, impacts to soil, and other uses better suited for settlement areas. Here is the subject property again with the relevant zoning, showing primarily agricultural, some light industrial zoning, and some rural zoning to the south. No written comments have been received to date from members of the public, but one verbal comment was made over the phone by a recipient of the public notice asking for clarification on the definition of adventure games. They've been provided with the definition right out of zoning bylaw 3809 and did not express any concerns at the time. The application had been circulated to the Ministry of Transportation and we have not received any comments yet. But we did also circulate the application to the United Counties of STD Transportation Department, being that it's on a county road, and they have no concern with the proposed amendment as it stands. The zoning application will be subject to a decision of council, and a staff report, including a recommendation, will be brought to council for a decision in the near future. And if we can move on to any questions or comments from council or the public.
Okay, thank you. And as this is a public meeting, it's no decision will be made, but if there's any questions around the council table at present, I don't see any. There is a Mr. Frederick Thoreau, who is in the public that may wish to speak, and as you said, the proponent Tyler Baraha is here too. But I did see Deputy Mayor Lang's hand up, so please proceed.
I'd just like to go back to a full screen so I can see everybody.
There we go.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. All right. I'm looking again at the participants. Frederick, did you have a comment you wish to make, or Tyler? All right, I guess I will ask the same question when it comes to the definition of adventure games. What does that include?
So it primarily includes just airsoft and paintball as a use, like an established site for adventure games such as paintball and airsoft.
Right. Then with no comments from the public and no comments from the committee, I would move, if I can find a mover and a seconder to adjourn, if I'm following proper procedure. I'm not missing anything at this point. Great. I'm mover and a seconder adjourn, moved by Councillor McAnell, seconded by Councillor Bougie. We resolve that the committee adjourn at the call of the chair at 6:43 p.m. All those in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. Have a good evening, everyone.
Oh, sorry,
Oh.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I just noticed a comment come up, a written comment. Not sure if you saw that from it says anonymous attendee. Is there a plan in place for cleanup of waste?
Okay, no, thank you for pointing that out. I did not see that one come through. Is that a Mr. Irwin question or Mr. Baraha?
At this time, we haven't established any plan for the cleanup of waste as part of the zoning amendment. But if Mr. Baraha would have any comments, we're welcome to hear them.
I believe you are muted presently.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Okay. The BBs from Airsoft are biodegradable, and so are paintballs. And for a toilet, I will have an outhouse that I will have emptied every few weeks.
Okay, I see that there's a secondary question. That's great. Thank you from the anonymous attendee. Thank you, Mr. Baraha.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll go back to that original motion so that I'll just change the time to 6:44 as adjournment to call the chair. Or Councillor Jaworski, are you? I don't know. I thought I saw a facial movement. Did I miss you?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you for checking in.
Okay, great. So all those in favor of the adjournment at 6:45? Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. Have a good evening, everyone.